Good morning, everyone. It's Wisdom Wednesday, and my name's Adette with 9 3/4 Coaching. Today, we're going to talk about resilience. And resilience, as defined, is the capacity to quickly recover from something. It's the capacity to overcome difficulties. It's a toughness. And there's a lot of conversation in the marketplace right now about resilience and how we somehow have lost our ability to have resilience, or that it doesn't exist, or how do we get it? And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that resiliency, because resiliency is something that we're not born with, but it's something that comes with time and effort. And so every day we have an opportunity to create resiliency in our lives. And resiliency comes from overcoming challenges. And we're told this story that life isn't easy or those sorts of things. And there's some truth to that. But it's all in how you define easy. We put verbiage and thoughts and emotions around something being hard or something being easy. And when we break down those emotions and thoughts that we have around something being easy or hard, it helps us move forward. So I just recently had some enlightenment. I was having coffee with my girlfriend, and we were talking about resiliency. And I said, some of my greatest achievements, some of the things that I just am so proud of, are the things where I've overcome hardship, or I've overcome a huge challenge or something I've created for myself. I love to bicycle. I'm not a superstar cyclist, but several years ago, I took on a challenge to ride roughly 300 kilometers in 3 days. And it was through the Canadian Rockies, and there was lots of hills. And the first time I did it, I didn't finish. And I didn't finish because I got sick on the third day. So a few years later, I went back at it and I tried it again. And on the third day, I woke up and my knees were just killing me. So I asked my husband to take me to the top of the first hill, because I knew I could do most of the trip. I just didn't think I could accomplish 2 really big hills. So I started off that way. And at the end of it, I kind of completed it, but I didn't fully complete the task or the activity that I planned on doing. So I never felt fully accomplished. I accomplished something, but it wasn't the full meal deal. So the third time I went out with a girlfriend and we did the same trip. And this time I actually finished it. I finished all 3 days, no hiccups, no getting sick. And I pushed through. And on the last day, there was a heck of a hill. And every pedal hurt. And I was just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And in the end, I was able to celebrate that. So resilience sometimes isn't about waking up tomorrow and being the best at something, but it's the everyday work and ethics that we take into the little things in our lives. So sometimes if you're in a really rough spot, resilience can be getting out of bed and celebrate it. Celebrate where those victories come in. But resilience is also about, I'm not great today, but I'm going to put in some work and some effort, and I'll get better tomorrow. And I'm going to work on it tomorrow, and I'm going to get better the next day. And we're going to continue to work through this process. Now, there are a few things that are key to becoming a resilient person. First, you got to look at becoming a problem solver. How do I work through this challenge? How do I work through this problem? What do I need to do? What things do I need to put in place to overcome that? So it means being a little bit of a creative mind. Sometimes it's about tricking your mind into thinking that you've already accomplished it so that you can work through the challenges. Think of your obstacles as challenges. So that's part of that tricking your mind. Consider, what are the possibilities? What other options do I have to create the same task or challenge? Get connected to your community is a key element here. And it's connected to your community on multiple levels. First, if you're not doing this challenge for the benefit of someone in your community, it could be inspiring somebody, it could be giving back to your community, it could be making a difference in your community. If you're doing it for selfish reasons, your resilience level decreases. Your opportunity for success decreases. So think, how does my action benefit my community? When you get community minded, your accomplishments increase significantly. Now, in being community minded, it also is an opportunity for you to engage your community. And by engaging your community, you're asking for their help, you're asking for their support, for their input. And you'd be surprised at how many people want you to achieve your goals and your aspirations, and how much it means for them to be a part of it. So don't forget to ask for help. Sometimes that's paid help. Sometimes it's just somebody in your community. And community can be family, it can be friends, it can be an organization that you're associated with. Look at who's in your community. Identify yourself as a survivor, not a victim, is one of the things that has shown up in the research. Now, I would challenge that just a little bit. Instead of a survivor, put it more like a warrior. Think of yourself as being not just a survivor, but you're a warrior. You're gonna push through. You've got energy behind yourself. If you think of yourself as a victim, you'll never ever come those challenges, because you're going to say they're too much, they're too big. Too much, too big, you're going to give up. So think of yourself more as the survivor or the warrior. And I challenge you that it's the warrior in you that's going to show up each and every day. Cultivate your self-awareness. When you're self-aware, you will begin to learn where some of your own barriers are and what's preventing you from moving forward. So resilience, again, it's a toughness that we build up over time. We don't automatically become resilient overnight. Think of some of the famous Canadians that have become known for being resilient, and we love to raise them up and talk about them. And we raise them up because of the same qualities we're talking about. They overcome challenges. They look at where they are supporting their community and how they're a part of their community. They look at themselves as a warrior and a champion. They engage with being self-aware and what's possible for themselves. So we have people like Rick Hansen and Wheels in Motion, 34 countries in 2 years. We have Terry Fox, who ran across or attempted to run across Canada with one leg with cancer. And we aspired to be like him. We aspired to, and we celebrated him because he overcame so many amazing challenges, and he was community minded. He wasn't doing it for himself. He was doing it for his community. We look at some of the Canadians that are in there. Roberta Bondar, for example. She's one of my favorite Canadian heroes, if you might say. She was the first neuroscientist in space. Now, some people like to celebrate that she was the first Canadian female in space, but it's more about that she was the first neuroscientist in space. And she had some huge hurdles. She had to work through a male-dominated environment. She had to work through the struggles of training to be with NASA. Big things. We have Viola Desmond, who is a civil rights activist and was fighting against segregation in Nova Scotia. She's also a Girl Guide, so she used her resources wisely and worked towards a common goal for her community. Agnes MacPhail, first female who was in the House of Commons in a time period where women weren't even being elected. We weren't even given the vote. She worked towards giving women the vote in Canada, overcoming obstacles, working towards it. So where in your life do you want to set your goals and your challenges? How can you see yourself as a champion? How can you work towards overcoming these obstacles and seeing them as challenges? How can you engage your community as part of that? Look at all of those things. Become self-aware and help move yourself forward. Resilience is possible. I ask you to challenge yourself and become resilient. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.